Next News. Breaking news.
President Trump just dropped a bombshell that changes everything in the Russia-Ukraine war. In a late-night Truth Social post from the White House, the president announced a 3-day ceasefire effective May 9th through the 11th. Now, it's not some empty gesture from the old guard in Brussels. This is America First leadership forcing the first real pause in months, right before Russia's Victory Day celebrations. Sources are calling it a shock move after weeks of waiting on Iran talks, but make no mistake, the pause is a test. Will it hold? What does it mean when the rest of the world suddenly looks to Washington instead of Europe? See, the ceasefire hits American families because endless foreign aid under the previous administration drained our resources while prices stayed high. Communities across the heartland watch billions flow overseas instead of fixing our borders or rebuilding our infrastructure. Politically, the stakes couldn't be higher. If this holds, it proves that one man can get both sides to the table when Europe failed for years. The broader impact rewrites the global power map. No more endless committees, bureaucracy dragging out conflict. Real leaders are stepping up. That means less money wasted on forever wars and more focus right here at home. Every day the fighting stops is another day we save American treasure and lives from being pulled into someone else's fight. Now, before we dive deeper into what this ceasefire signals as a major shift, there is something America is watching as their savings they should consider right now, because here's what your financial advisor will not tell you. By the time the news tells you to buy gold, it's already too late. You're waiting. I get it. Everybody's waiting to see if the ceasefire holds, waiting to see if the Strait of Hormuz reopens, waiting to see what happens next. But gold isn't waiting for you. It moves on fear, instability, and on the unknown, and it moves faster than you can react. So while you're waiting for certainty, the rest of the world's planning for what comes next. You can't afford to sit on the sidelines while global events drive real value. Noble Gold Investments helps patriots protect their wealth with physical gold and silver before the next surprise hits. Visit nextnewsgold.com, it's linked below, and take control before it's too late. Now back to the story and what this means for America's future on the world stage. See, there's more to the story than just the ceasefire announcement itself. Just days ago, I sat down with President Dodik, who told me exactly how this would play out. He said the world isn't waiting on European bureaucrats anymore. He said real progress depends on a direct understanding between President Trump and President Putin. That conversation has now begun in action and not words. And now here's the post that the White House just presented. I'm pleased to announce that there will be a 3-day ceasefire, the war between Russia and Ukraine. This is the actual post. We'll bring it up big for you. I'm pleased to announce there will be a 3-day ceasefire. The celebration in Russia is for Victory Day, but likewise in Ukraine, because they were also a big part of the factor of World War II. The ceasefire will include a suspension of all kinetic activity, also a prison swap of 1,000 prisoners from each country. This request was made directly by me, and I very much appreciate its agreement by President Vladimir Putin and Zelensky. Hopefully this is the beginning of the end of a very long and deadly hard-fought war. Talks are continuing on ending this major conflict, the biggest since World War II. We're getting closer and closer every day. Thank you for your attention to this matter. President Trump talking about this ceasefire that he helped lay out with a prisoner swap. And Fox confirming the Victory Day timing and how it could lead to longer peace talks.
All right, well, for more on that breaking news, let's get to our White House correspondent, Aisha Hasni. She's live on the North Lawn as the president just sent out that statement in a Truth Social. Aisha?
Hey, Sandra and John, and I am told by a source that we should be expecting Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to also put out a statement here shortly on X, so we will keep our eyes peeled for that. And you just read it there. It was quite a shock to us here at the White House, because we were actually waiting for a development on the Iran deal, the Iran negotiations, because Secretary of State Marco Rubio had said that the administration expected a response from Iran today. Instead, we have now gotten this from Russia and Ukraine, a 3-day ceasefire. And the dates are very interesting as we pull up the Truth Social here. May 9th, May 10th, and May 11th. And that's interesting because that is around Victory Day for Russia. Of course, Vladimir Putin is going to want to have a big military parade. So it sounds like that's something that he was very interested in securing a ceasefire during that time. It It also goes on to say that it will include a suspension of all kinetic activity, also a prisoner swap of 1,000 prisoners. That is a big number there. We haven't seen a number like that for a while, 1,000 prisoners from each country.
Okay, so Fox laying out the details. Now, President Dodek, who I interviewed, says the world is waiting for a Trump-Putin meeting, not Brussels bureaucrats. This is from my interview last week at the World Leaders Forum at Judson University.
Sastanak sa predsjednikom Putinom sljedeće nedelje, predsjednik Trump je rekao da hoće mir u Ukrajini i da to želi. Je li to poruka koju ste spremni da prebacite Putinu?
Naravno.
Yes, of course.
Ja sam uvjeren da svijet iščekuje dogovor Trumpa i Putina i da će on biti sređenije i bolje. Nakon toga.
I'm convinced that the world is waiting for a meeting of the minds between Trump and Putin, and they'll be better for it.
Ja mislim da su oni lideri koji iznjedrila civilizacijski trenutak i ne bi trebalo da propustimo taj trenutak.
I think they're true leaders that have a
Pratio sam taj razgovor i znam.
I've been following that story closely, and I know.
I što je predsjednik Trump rekao to.
I know exactly what President Trump has said.
Razgovarao sam i ranije sa predsjednikom Putina.
I've even spoken with President Putin.
Lično za njega je veoma bolan. Veoma je bolan rat u Ukrajini.
The war in Ukraine hurts him very much.
On doživljava Ukrajinci kao svoj braću.
He looks at the Ukrainian people as his own brothers.
Tu se nalazi 15 miliona Rusa.
So he says real leaders must meet without European interference. No longer a serious geopolitical actor. Argues the continent has no real leaders, no vision, and remains attached to prolonging war while money keeps flowing. His verdict is devastating. Europe cannot deliver peace.
I know President Putin has certain intentions and goals.
Ja mislim da su Trump i Putin već postigli okvir ni dogovor još u Aljasci.
But I believe that they've had a conversation back in Alaska.
I da kroz izjave koje sam mogli da čujem, a i ponešto o tome znam, Evropa nije bila spremna da postigne mir u Ukrajini.
And I know a little bit about this, but Europe wasn't ready to give peace to the Ukraine.
Ali Evropa više nije relevantan igrač.
But Europe is no longer a relevant player.
Postoje sad još recidivi toga da se ona uvažava.
Yeah, it's already being invalidated.
Ona nema lidere.
It doesn't have leaders.
War makes a lot of people a lot of money.
Rat pravi pare.
And with respect to that, they keep the war going. And during the Biden administration, we continue to see more money.
So that's just one clip from the interview. The full interview is actually on the channel. You can see it if you go to the main channel page. But here's the closing message from that interview. I wanted the president to carry a message of peace to Vladimir Putin because he's actually meeting with Putin. He met with him this week.
Taking the time, especially in light of your loss. I understand you're still grieving. So my prayers are with your family. And I just hope you have a wonderful meeting with President Putin. You can bring a message of peace to the world.
I nadam se da imate divan sastanak sa predsjednikom Putinom i da možete predati mir svijetu.
Da. Prenijećemo utisak.
I will convey that to him.
Iz Amerike.
From America.
Slobodne zemlje.
The land of freedom.
Koji vodi jedan moćan lider posvećen razvoju, a ne uništenju.
Who's led by a great leader who is
razvoj, ne uništenje.
Who wants growth and not destruction.
I da vjerujem da i predsjednik Putin to isto.
And I believe that President Putin wants the same.
Thank you.
Who knew that Gary Franchi would be able to transmit a message of peace to Vladimir Putin, and then we would have a ceasefire brokered by President Trump in the same week that President Dodek would meet with Vladimir Putin. I'm not saying that I had any influence on it, but maybe I did. You see, this is the real aha moment. that the establishment fears. Trump just demonstrated he can pause the fighting where NATO committees and EU summits could not. By choosing dates around Victory Day, he shows respect for Russian traditions while holding both sides accountable. The world's no longer looking to Brussels for solutions. It's looking to American strength in deal-making. See, that repositioning undercuts endless war profiteering and puts America back in the driver's seat. If Trump can deliver this kind of result in one move, with my influence, of course, imagine what comes next when he shapes the final outcome. So the bottom line is this 3-day ceasefire is real. It's strategic and it proves that President Trump's America First approach delivers results where others talked in circles for years. Europe has been exposed as irrelevant while true leaders move the ball forward. So share this video right now so more Americans see how the tide is turning, and drop a comment. Do you believe Trump can end this war for good? But most importantly, text raw feed to that secret number on the screen, 844-840-4963, right now, to bypass the algorithm and join the hundreds of patriots who are already getting direct updates right to their phone. And check out the Next News merch shelf below this video for the latest gear. This is our moment. This is America's moment. Stay bold, stay free, and we will see you on the next report.
The system controls information. Information control is power.
They don't want you to see this.
The truth only survives together. They don't want this shared. Share this now.